Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Morning Star Community Christian Center's Life Study. We come to you every Thursday evening, live and in living color. And of course, this Thursday is no different. And we welcome you. We thank you for joining us. And as always, at the top of the program, we invite you to call others that you know, and let them know that Morning Star's Life Study is on. Give them a text, give them a call real quick and say, tune in, the Life Study has started. Tune in, the Life Study has started. You will be blessed. And as always, at the beginning of the program, we always remind ourselves of what it is we do and what it is we stand on. And we take our Bibles and we hold them up and we repeat these words after me. We say that this is God's holy word. Receive it.
Receive it,
Believe it,
believe it,
and achieve it.
and achieve it.
Yes, and today's foundational scripture is in Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, chapter 22, verse number 6. Proverbs 22, verse number 6. And it says very simply, it's a very familiar passage, a very familiar scripture, and it says this: train up a child in the way that he should go. Even when he's old, he will not depart from it. That's our focus verse. That's our foundational verse for this evening's program. Because this evening we'll be talking with and talking about young people and some of the challenges that they are faced with in today's world. And we have the absolute experts to do and to deal and to talk and to discuss about that very subject. We have the head of the youth ministry there at Morning Star. We have the parent and that's the head of that ministry, our sister Cherie Holmes, and she is with us, and we thank God for her presence. We have our sister Dixon, who is the parent of one of our young people. She is in the fire, so to speak, in the throes of those challenges that involve raising a young person in today's world, and we are certainly thankful for her presence, and her son Malachi is with us. I believe he's been on earth all of 15 years. At least that's what I heard him say in church once. And maybe he's moved on to the 16th year, but we'll find that out in a little while. But at least we know he's been on earth at least 15 years, and we're thankful for his presence with us on this evening. And then there is Lawrence Luke. He's a 20-something, so that we have a little bit older young person who is with us, and we're so grateful for his presence to give us another perspective on youth in today's world and some of the challenges that they face. This is an expert panel. This is an expert group of people. Nobody knows better than this group of people right here what it is that our young people have to deal with in today's world. And we've all heard about subject matters like bullying, like alcohol use and abuse, like drug use and abuse, like mental health, like anxiety, like low self-esteem, like depression, like the use and abuse of social media. We've heard a lot about these challenges, these issues, these subject matters, and we'll get into some of them and get some of the opinions of what these things are like and how they are affecting not only those here on the panel, but maybe they are aware of others and some of the difficulties and those challenges that friends of theirs or associates of theirs have been dealing with. And so that's my brief introductory remarks. I want to first of all throw the ball over to our sister Cherie, the head of our youth ministry, and have her say what she'd like to say in opening comments.
Well, good afternoon, and I too want to say thank you to Sister Marquetta, Malachi, and Lawrence, and also to you, Pastor, for allowing us to be here. I am so grateful. And it's good to have dialogue about our youth and the challenges that we face, and also our accomplishments, because we are making some slow strides, and I'm happy about that. But in opening, just wanting to say that it's a privilege to be able to communicate and connect with young people. If you're an older person, it is an honor that they trust you, that they respect your opinion about things. They don't have a fear of coming to you and being themselves. So that's a privilege, and that's one of the things that I try to be, is an open avenue for young people to come and talk to me, be themselves, because it's very important. I want to be to them what I didn't necessarily have. And being a parent of 3, it was important. It is and still is important to me. And I have them that range from 19 to 34. So just being able to have open dialogue and communication with them is great. So, Pastor, we're going to give it back to you for your questions.
Okay. So you want me to go right to the questions here? We don't.
You know what? No, I don't. I'm sorry. Let us hear from Brother Malachi. And why he accepted this invitation.
Yeah. I'd like that. Brother Malachi, I know you've been on this earth for 15 years.
Yes, I have.
Talk to us.
Well, what I think that we can do to get the youth more involved is maybe have a Sunday school, or be more involved when it comes to media, maybe on social media, having a page run by maybe the older members of the youth to incorporate them more in service and have them be more engaged, and to reel in more young people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Malachi, one question. Can you share why you accepted this?
I'm sorry. I just went right into it.
No, it's fine. I like it.
Oh, but I accepted it because, I'm youth, and, I love to see more of my people around, more of my age group, more say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we certainly want to hear more from
Yes.
of your age group, for sure. Absolutely. Lawrence, speak.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, so the reason I chose to be here is because, one, I'm 100% down to do whatever it is I can to help with the youth ministry, and to help with the church and its growth. I'm very excited to be here to speak with all of you guys, and to give my own perspective on, my own journey and what I think could bring more people into the church.
Mm-hmm. 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 Thank you so much. Let me ask each of you to answer or respond as best you can to the following question. What would you say? What would you say would be the most major challenge facing young people today, in today's world? What would you say would be the most major, most difficult challenge? That is the thing that is most likely to steer a young person in the wrong direction. What is the most, or perhaps there are some, maybe there's more than one you'd like to talk about, but give a response to that question as you reflect on it. Either one can go first.
Yeah, I'll go first.
Mm-hmm.
In my experience, I feel like the thing that is most likely to deter young people, especially after the age of 21, is just the want to either become, I don't know, like internet famous, or wanting to become or wanting to gain exposure. And that comes within social media, that comes with the culture that we have now with music and art and a lot of different things that you see. You have a lot of access to everything. You know what I mean? Like right at the click of a click of a mouse or right at the type of a few buttons, you can get to anything on the internet. And I feel like in past times, it wasn't as easy to access a lot of the things that you are trying to avoid. So like um gambling, it's easy to do that on your phone. Like there's apps for it. There's apps for, music, and there's TikTok and there's Instagram and there's all these different things that contribute to people who want instant gratification and want to be immediately satisfied by whatever they're looking at or whatever they're doing.
Mhm. Mhm. Thank you for that. Malachi?
Okay, if I had to like give my opinion, I think it would be the people you hang around and the people you associate yourself with, because as they say, you are who you're around. So if you're hanging with the wrong crowd of people, doesn't matter how well you act or how you act. Overall, they will influence the way you act, the way you talk, the way you speak, the way you do things, your habits. It influences everything. It influences everything. So it can it can change the way you do things completely. You could go from, you know, I don't know an example right now, but I will think of one very soon. Okay?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
It just influences everything you do, and you could one day you could be the best student ever, and then one day you meet this new person and he's doing this and doing that. He's going out every night. He's going to parties, not studying, not doing his homework, cheating on tests, this, that, and the third. And if you keep hanging around that person, you will, I'm not saying you will, but it's very likely to become like that person. And that's not just somebody you want to be. You want to be somebody with integrity and somebody who's earnest. So, yeah,
Mhm.
that's my opinion.
Okay. And Sister Cherie, how does your experience match up or coincide with what Brother Lawrence and Brother Malachi have just expressed?
I definitely agree with them completely. Just even in, not just raising my own kids, but being around youth from various ages, even starting at like 6 years old. The social media is one of the biggest issues. And the other thing is that parental engagement with these younger children has waned a lot. Just the type of parenting that's happening now, because we have so many outside sources to monitor the kids, keeping them right in front of these computers, iPhones, laptops. Like, why are kids 3 and 4 with cell phones in their face already? So just there's way too much, in the words of Lawrence, way too much for our kids to be exposed to now. So monitoring to me is one of a major issue, and prioritizing, like making sure we're prioritizing God and church and our children, because there's a very large uptick in witchcraft all over social media, all kinds of witchcraft. Now they're saying you can be a good witch. So many things to defer them into different types of religious followings, to me, is a very big, one of the biggest things for me, the social media and what they have immediate access to without supervision.
Mhm. And Sister Dixon, what would you say are the challenges of being a parent of a young teenager in today's world? What what uh, what are the things that you need to be most aware of, and what are the challenges that you face on a regular basis?
Yes, so definitely outside influences. Teenagers are often concerned with the opinions of their peers. During the teenage years, children rely on the influence and opinions of peers versus their teachers versus their family. And so, akin to what Mal said, right, you are who you hang around with. So just kind of fighting those forces, teaching children how to pick their friends, definitely an issue. Social media and not knowing how to use it responsibly, and finding validation within social media as opposed to feeling validated from your family or just feeling validated within oneself. Added with peer pressure, of course. So those are definitely challenges. And then just the peer pressure, just the pressure of life in general. There are so many things that teenagers have to deal with that my generation and previous generations have not had to deal with at all. There's so many things that come against them that they're not often equipped to deal with it, or parents are equipped to deal with. And so you find that there's often a disconnect between teenagers and their parents, and this a huge bridge that neither are able to kind of cross with, simply because they can't connect because of so many pressures and just issues that I may have not had to face, whereas this generation they have to face.
Do you have for example in that regard? You know, something that this generation has to deal with, that perhaps your generation or my generation did not have to deal with. I know that Lawrence was saying that you know the young people today are exposed to things at the click of a mouse that in years past the young people were not exposed to. Is that the kind of thing you're referring to, or you have other examples of?
So social media, because children have been exposed to social media and as well as just technology at an earlier age. And so when you have wide access to the internet and social media, you're seeing things that shouldn't even be on your radar. So you're having to combat children that are seeing violence. They're seeing things that are lots of sexual nature, and then even validation. So on social media, there are hundreds of pictures, people post their lifestyle and the things that they can do to achieve this lifestyle. And so children finding validation in social media, posting their life on social media, and not actually understanding that what's on social media is not actually reality, excuse me. But we all know for children, their perception is their reality. So if they perceive what's on social media is a reality, that's something they're going to want to strive to. And so having to combat that, that false reality, and trying to teach them, one, you know, that's not actual reality, and then showing them how to navigate through this new world of social media.
Oh, gotcha. Now I have this, and you all just jump in now. If you have something burning to say, just jump in and say it. But I have this burning thing that's been irritating me for some time, and I just got to get you all's opinion, especially yours, Malachi, and yours, Brother Lawrence. And yours too, Sister Cherie and Sister Dixon. Listen, raise your hand if you've heard the phrase bullying. Everybody, we know the phrase bullying, right? Everybody's heard that, right? Bullying, right? Now, so I need some help with this now. So somebody tell me, how are people, especially young people, how are they bullied? Through what mechanism are they bullied? Do you understand my question? If you don't, say so.
I understand.
Okay. So like if let's say Malachi, let's say you're being bullied. Let's say you're being bullied. Let's say you come home and you tell your mother, I'm being bullied. I'm being bullied. What does that mean? What does that mean? What are you saying to your mother? What are you saying to your parent? I am being bullied. What does that mean? What's happening to you if you say that you're being bullied? What is happening? Tell me.
Okay, well, from my perspective, it could be a number of things. Maybe somebody stopping you in the hallway and, just stealing stuff from you. Maybe they're just teasing you, but it still hurts your feelings. Maybe even online, there's something called cyberbullying that can happen to kids where things are happening to them. It may not be physical, but online, it can still feel very real to some kids. Maybe in the hallways, people are just rude to them for no reason. Maybe just a number of things.
Yeah. So where does bullying mostly occur? Either
In my
is it mostly cyber or is it or in person in the school setting?
I believe that it happens more cyber because of how easy it is
Right,
to get away with it. And online, it's not like you always have a face. You can be faceless online. So
right.
I think it happens more online, but I believe that if it does happen in person, I believe when it comes to children, it happens in school,
Right.
100%.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and it's that aspect of it that just worries me and troubles me. This whole thing of cyber bullying, the bullying that occurs online. And this is why. If I am being bullied online, don't I have to be online to be bullied?
I think so, Pastor, but um a lot of these kids' lives are ingrained online. Like it's very hard for a young person to separate their real life from their internet or online life because they're so intertwined. Because, you make friends that you never see in person who live states away, but because you are online and you're able to speak to them, that's where you congregate, that's where you meet. And a lot of those places can be where cyberbullying can occur. So, you know, if I'm on Facebook just talking to somebody random, and I'm scrolling down my timeline or my feed, I could see something like a post about me just randomly, like not me looking for it, not me searching for anything. It just pops up and it's like, oh, that's me right there, and I'm getting bullied, right? And then also it's sort of like you get interested in it. You know what I mean? You want to see what people are saying about you. A lot of people want to be cool. A lot of people want to be seen as popular, or want to be seen in a positive light. And then when you see online, people don't think of you the way that you think they think of you. It's like you get trapped into a rabbit hole. And then, like I said, because of the fact that they're so ingrained, their lives are so ingrained online, it's like an inescapable evil. Like you have to deal with it one way or another because it happens online. Maybe you don't see it personally, but then you get to school the next day and people are like, "Oh, did you see this thing that happened? Or did you see what this person said about you?" And they're showing it to you about like, things that you aren't proud of or something that you could potentially be bullied about. So even if I'm personally not online, because I have friends who are online who might be able to see it, it still affects me in that way.
Thank you very much.
And I would say that it goes hand in hand with our young people, school and social media, because things are happening in school. So now, if I case in point, true story, young women are at the height of these fighting videos, and being really, there are young people being tormented by other people that want to fight. They're online fighting. So they're at school. You go to school in the morning, you're fighting. Someone is videoing, posting it on social media. Now you have that whole dynamic from school. Oh, you got beat up, and people like, it's like a fighting match is a consistent thing. One person fights you, the next person wants to fight. Or, oh, you looked at my boyfriend wrong. And so now it's all over social media that you're being called all kinds of names. Your video has gone viral with this fighting. And it's to a degree where I personally know of a young lady that went to a different school. She's at a different school right now, already dealing with someone connected to another person in the former school who's now beginning to stir up this same tactic with her. So it follows them. Social media is one of the biggest culprits to our kids' lives right now, that it's not even funny. And it can be positive, but a lot of it is stemming more towards negativity. And that's why, I think it's very important for parents to intervene, because even the schools, when they're seeing these things happening, they're not even taking these videos and investigating who's in them. They're dealing with the children. Most of the time, it's like a domestic violence situation. Most of the time, the abuser gets away and the victim is the one that's disciplined. And that's what I'm seeing happening a lot. There's a big uptick in that right now. So school and social media going together is large.
So what can we do to help? What can we do to help? How can the church help alleviate and eliminate some of this some of this negativity that is being fostered by social media? That it seems like, as I'm hearing from you, that it's hard to avoid. It's hard to avoid, because even if you avoid it, your friends see it, they don't avoid it, and then your friends see it, and then they bring it to you, and then automatically you're brought into it, and one thing leads to another, and what you try to avoid comes into your face anyway. So what can be done? What should be done? What are the answers? What are the responses that we need to be involved with to help alleviate and eliminate this? Or the negative aspects of it. Go ahead.
One of my solutions was the unplugged events that we have at the church, getting the kids to practice putting that phone down, putting down social media. Because when we were younger, we had games. We played Trouble, we played Scrabble, checkers. We sat down, we played outside, we ran around. Did we have bullying? Yes, I know that because I was bullied because I wore dresses to school every day. But bullying was there. But you also had parental involvement. These kids are more likely to hide things from their parents because you can't be on top of social media every day. So, I think sending the message that no matter what is happening, home has to be the safe space and church has to be the safe space that these kids can come and tell us anything, no matter what it is. We can't be shocked by what they tell us, right? Because there are shocking things that they are being exposed to and approached with. So we have to be that space that's safe and non-judgmental, and knowing that no matter what you say, we're in a position to want to help guide you and lead you in the right direction. Even if it means we rally with them at parent conference meetings. If mama can't make it to parent conference, well, maybe somebody in the church can go in her place to assist the child. You can't be at the game, then maybe we could be there to support them. Because when other kids see that you're supported and protected, I think they're more likely to lean away from the foolery when they know that someone is getting in contact with your parent to deal with this situation and that they're not alone, that they have a village. I think that's important.
Other responses for solutions. Lawrence, Malachi, Sister Dixon.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I definitely agree with having unplugged events. So that way the children actually can learn how to engage with one another, teaching them conflict resolution, and definitely focusing on the whole child, character development. So that way, when things like this do arise, they're strong enough to withstand it. And then also teaching them what to do when things like this arise, right? Who to go to, right? Yes, go to your parents, right? If you don't feel comfortable going to your parents, being able to go to someone within the church. But that also starts with building trust and fostering more relationships with the youth. So having these programs will definitely build relationships, foster trust and relationships. So that way the youth will feel comfortable enough to, come to someone within the church. And then having mentors and a mentee relationship, those things can definitely help.
Mhm. Mhm.
I think,
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think a good solution is to first instill a strong sense of self in the child. Um, I'm very thankful that my parents did an amazing job of instilling a sense of self and, an ability to look at what other people are doing and think to myself, do I want to do that or do I not want to do that? And being comfortable in my decision. And in addition to that, also being able to discern when things are good for you and when things are meant for your harm. So, um, in installing that sense of self, you have to know who you are and not so much what other people are deeming as cool, like seeing whatever your interests are, whatever you feel is a part of your personality, a part of your essence, and actually following that rather than, this person says this show is cool, so I'm going to watch it, or this person says this artist is really good, so I'm going to listen to their music. It's more so, understanding who I am and living in that truth rather than, being influenced by others. So instilling a strong sense of self, I feel like is a very good solution for parents and, for youth.
Mhm. Malachi, anything additional?
Yeah, I just like to, lead off what Lauren said. Obviously, to let them be okay with being who they are, and instead of allowing them to be easily influenced, have them, make sure they know who they are at a young age, or not even at a young age, but just let them know that it's okay to be who you are and you don't have to change for anybody else. And if you have to change for people to want to be friends with you, maybe it's time, or maybe you shouldn't be friends with those people, and that it's okay not to be cool, you know.
Mhm. So do you think, do you all, meaning by you all, I mean you, Malachi, and you, Brother Lawrence, do you think Morning Star is making the right kind of efforts in that direction and in trying to help our young people be as successful as possible in today's world? Or do you have recommendations for us to do more or do differently?
I think getting more youth involved. I remember years ago, we had the youth choir, and that was something where a bunch of youth from the church would get together and we would all perform together. I think that was extremely important. I know we used to have something called the Joseph Project, which was run by Brother James at the time, and it was a bunch of young boys getting together and playing basketball together, on a weekly basis. And in that, we also talked about um, different scriptures and were introduced to a lot of things when it comes to God and our relationship with God. Just I think having more, maybe not more events, but just more activities geared toward children or toward the youth, like maybe a field day once a summer, or like a talent show or something like that. Just something to get more people involved, and not necessarily just for youth that are in the church, but also youth that are outside of the church who just want to come and have a fun time at a regular event, and then we can bring them into the church that way. I think that's something that could be improved upon. Although I will say I've only been a part of the church since June, so I don't know exactly all of the events that the youth ministry has. I have seen that there's a lot of work that's being done by Sister Cherie. So just having events like that and things that draw the youth to the church, I think would be, beneficial.
Mhm. Thank you for that. And Malachi?
I think that we should use social media to our advantage, as most of these kids are glued to their phones, scrolling on TikTok for hours and hours and hours, and Instagram and hours and hours, and YouTube, as we're already using. But I think if we can get them from the platform, use it to our advantage, instead of, we'd rather them be watching us than, watching something that's hurtful to their mind and instilling false ideas in their head. So maybe we can post like promotional videos on TikTok that's like a part of the youth ministry, and maybe some of the older young adults, run it, so that it's just like, it's not like, oh, it's a bunch of adults trying to get us to, join
Mhm.
the church, but maybe children. So, because when kids see more kids, they're going to be drawn towards each other.
Mhm.
That's my idea.
And Sister Dixon?
Yes, I think getting the youth involved in the different ministries. So, for example, greeting, ushering. So, if children feel that they are a part of something, they're more likely and more willing to open up. So, instead of just having a youth Sunday, why not have the youth fully involved in every aspect of the church? So, with greeting, with ushering, they could be junior ushers or junior deacons. And that way, not only do they learn the business of the church, learn how to serve God with their time, but also it teaches the next generation, right, how to conduct service and how, the church will go on. Growing up in church myself, those are things that I did. I was a junior usher. I was in ministry as on the choir, trustee. So those things like that help me to understand, like, okay, this is something that you do, right? You don't only just serve God with your money, but you serve with your time and serve God with your heart. And so if we get the youth involved at that level in the different ministries and different areas and offices of the church, um, they'll feel ownership. They'll feel as if they belong.
And Sister Cherie?
So, great comments from everybody, and those are all the things that we are striving to do. And we do meet challenges in that place. So one of the things that I want to speak to is participation, right? Because we do offer all of those things to our children to be involved in the other ministries. I am so glad Malachi brought up the social media, because I did find out that we do have someone that when we make those TikTok videos, we do have a ministry that posts and will handle all of those things for us. So Malachi, I'm so happy you brought that up, because when we get off this phone, I gotta send you your assignment. And we discovered that Lawrence is very well capable of making us videos and creating content for us. So there's a lot of ideas bubbling in the background for you all, but we need the youth to participate. We need parents to prioritize the ministry with their children, because it is hard when I'm using the same people all the time over and over again. So I would want to suggest to Lawrence and Malachi to encourage their peers in the church to accept assignments, work with them. If they're afraid to go up and talk in public, stand up with them, whatever we need to do to get that stuff done, because we do have quite a few things that are brewing for you all, but we're also looking for your ideas. We don't want to just be the one saying, hey, this is what we're doing. Contribute your thoughts. And when you do that, I believe we will continue to grow. And one of the things that I am committing to is embedding us into the Linden Board of Education, going to their meetings when they begin again, so I am trying to infiltrate and have some impact on different levels to get youth around involved. But some of the challenges that we face is that other youth ministries are just like ours. They're rebuilding after the pandemic. The pandemic made people love watching online. And one thing that happened that Pastor did one time before COVID, he stopped the online service. Do you remember that, Pastor?
Yes, I do.
And so in order to get the sermon, you had to come to church, right? And I'm almost feeling like you may need to implement that again, certain times of the month and of the year to build that momentum back up. So those are things that we're going to, we're working on a few things. We have a few things coming up that I think you guys will benefit from. And I'm going to, lean on the ones that are active to push our agenda, right? Lobby for the youth ministry. If you're excited about it, others will get excited about it. Invite your friends, So truly it depends on your availability, you being active, and our youth spreading the news, because we will say this, the adults see some of the things we're doing and they are, tapping in to do other things. I'm curious what they are doing with the information, but, want to see what's going to expand, how we're going to expand, and collaborating with other ministries is one of them. I was happy when I heard that Malachi was part of the media ministry. So far, he's been the only one that I know of that has joined a ministry right now. And Lawrence has as well, but I'm talking about as the teenager. So we are pushing that for them.
Now, and so listen, boy, the comments that you all have made are just absolutely fabulous. They're outrageously fabulous. And I thank you so much for all of them. Now, Sister Cherie, while you're talking, let me ask you to add on to your conversation. The youth ministry has a couple of events coming up, particularly I believe a breakfast.
Yes.
Talk about it.
So on the 28th, we'll be having our back to school breakfast. And I'm sure everybody wonders why we're always having breakfast. Well, because a lot of people like breakfast food, and it's the best way to get the kids to come out, to come out, and parents not have to worry about that first meal of the day on Saturday. But when you come, we'll be relaunching and establishing our financial literacy program, which is an amazing program, right? So when you come out on the 28th from 10 to 1, you won't just be eating, but you will have a buffet style breakfast. And I need you to bring your phones, your laptops, your iPads, so that you can start doing something more productive with your laptop. Because the youth from 8th grade to 12th grade will have online lessons issued to them once a month. We're not excluding our age group 19 to 30. Brother Kendrick has an entire program set up for them. So you're going to hear all of that when you come to the breakfast. We're also launching another program that's, that we're going to we're not trying to do, we will do them. It's a quality of life program. So Kendrick and Brother Kendrick and Brother Travis will have a piece of that exclusively for the young men, and then there will be a part exclusively for the females, right? And then we'll also come together. So we'll be speaking to that. We're also planning, we just need to get our date approved, in sometime in December, a cook-off. Because if you guys remember the first time that we met, we talked about a cook-off, and you heard Kendrick and Travis going back and forth about who can cook the best. Well, we're planning that, and it falls right in line with something that Pastor has challenged us to do. That would be to include the family in everything, right? Because what we want to do, my prayer is that we rally around our youth, create their village as large as we possibly can, with trusted people. And that's very important. If I could just plug that right there, that parents have trusted people that you trust, to speak into the lives of your children, to give your children advice, make it safe for them to go to them. But you have to do that investigation first and be sure of who the people are that are communicating with your children. With this ministry, we are trusted adults. So this is why I kind of like include the parents in all the text messages that I send out. Parents are in those threads, so everyone knows what's going on. So we do have some things coming up. I have a throwback that I want to bring about as well. I won't speak to it now, but we have a couple of things that we're planning, and I am happy and fortunate that new young people are coming in. And Pastor, our age 19 to 30 is really creeping up. We have quite a few of them showing up. So I am definitely trying to engage them. And I've appointed Lawrence and Ashley Weeks as one of my point people to stay frontline communication with them so that we can get some things going for them as well. So I'm excited about what's going on. And I wish some more of my team members was available tonight so they could speak to these things, but get excited because we have a busy schedule coming up for you.
Fabulous, fabulous. You have been listening to and looking at our expert panel this evening on youth and some of the major issues that we face on this evening. And we have just been too excited to bring you this wonderful and exciting and informative and inspirational panel discussion that has been extremely helpful to me, and I know it's been helpful to everybody who has tuned in. And I want to, you know what, we could really keep going and talk again a long time. Now, let me just say this before we close out, because the time is far spent. If does anybody have anything they'd like to say before we initiate the closing? Because if so, we'd like to give you space and place to do just that. Anybody?
Yes.
Yes.
Sister Dixon, why aren't you like my parent liaison or something? Like, I really feel like that could be something that you could do for us with the youth ministry. You just told me a whole lot about you. I wrote everything down about your history with church and everything.
Yeah.
So consider that. I want to create a parent liaison, and I think that you could be a great asset to us when it comes to that. So just give it a little thought.
Will do. Thank you for thinking.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any closing comments? Any Lawrence or Malachi? Any directions or guidance you want to give to adults before we close out?
I think you guys are doing a great job.
Okay. Listen, thank you guys so much for giving of your time and your expertise, and we so very much are appreciative of all of your time, all of your effort and energy, and we're thankful to God for your willingness to be a part of this ministry, and certainly for your willingness to be a part of the church. And we know is because of young people like yourself that will be inspirational to growing the church, and especially growing the youth ministry. For you are our present and our future, and we thank God for you, and we certainly thank God for your presence here and your input on this evening. And let me say to all of those of you who have watched us this evening, be sure to get their autograph on this coming Sunday. They'll be signing autographs at the end of the service, and you can get it from them at their availability. All right, that is the autograph of all. Well, you know, Sister Cherie, she's been there. If you can get hers too, but I'm talking about especially Brother Malachi and Brother Lawrence. Get their autograph, and Sister Dixon as well, and to show them our appreciation for their willingness and their presence to be with us on this evening. So we thank you all for being with us. We look forward to being with you again on next Thursday evening for another exciting and dynamic edition of our live study. And between here and this coming Sunday, we want you to continue to be blessed and be healthy, be strong, be safe, And we will see you 9:30 a.m. sharp this coming Sunday. This coming Sunday is Youth Sunday. Please be present and do invite somebody to be
Yes.
with you. Bring some young person or bring some older person or some seasoned person, but bring somebody and come and share with us the worship experience of Morning Star, 9:30 a.m. sharp this coming Sunday morning. God bless you, and we will see you Sunday morning. Be blessed.
Have a good night.
All right, thank you.
Have a good night.